Talk a little about Philip Morris and
oh, there's good content.
Altria.
That's killer content.
That's a long-standing brand there. That Faber report still going after all these years. Sunshine. Let's talk a bit about this deal, though, shall we? Because it was August 27th. So a few weeks ago. Actually, Jim and I were on the set here. We were blindsided at the time.
Yes.
Many people may have been by that announcement. Of course, that's all we got. That one paragraph, a couple selling us merger of equals. It was soon after that we indicated in our reporting that it really is a merger of equals, perhaps on social issues, but not in the economics. More like a 41-59 split, given Philip Morris International's significant higher market cap and the fact that they were going to do and are pursuing a deal based on a no premium and the VWAP of the 30 days of the unaffected stock price, roughly. These guys have been in a tough position because it leaked. They put the paragraph out that misled people in terms of thinking it was a 50-50 MOE, and they haven't had a chance to tell their story, and they still don't. But what I can tell you right now is they continue to make progress towards a transaction, towards a deal. The economic issues having been largely dealt with. Social issues, of course, are still being talked about. But because the deal is not necessarily focused on synergy, it shouldn't be that difficult. You can give up a headquarters and say, all right, we'll base the headquarters here or there. There's a decent amount of room, for example, I'm told as well by people familiar with the situation. But the key here is we may see a deal in the near term. Not going to be this week, but fairly soon, I'm told, and progress continues to be made. It's important to point out that progress continues to be made, though, in the face of what have been a number of analysts who've come out and said, we don't quite think this is the right time, and a number of shareholders who've also indicated that they may not be particularly behind the combination. But again, that goes back to this idea that these two companies have been unable to communicate. Why are they doing this? And what I continue to hear from those who are at least able to chat about it a bit is it's really about having that window that's open right now and being able to be a first mover when it comes to, Jim, these reduced risk products. Now, vaping obviously is its own thing right now.
Yeah.
But Philip Morris International has the IQOS product. It's a heat, not burn product. It's been approved. And they want to be here in the U.S. because the FDA is still the stamp of approval. It still gives you the roadmap to be able to take things worldwide. And they want to be able to innovate around what they think is just the first wave of these products as they watch their business go away for tobacco. And so if and when, as seems to be likely they do announce this deal, you're going to hear a lot more about R&D spend, innovation. The window is now. We've got to get to market with these kinds of products that are going to be our future. And that while synergies are going to be helpful here, it really is going to be about that. 70% overlap in the shareholder base of these two companies. But what's fascinating is the market cap combined is less than it was when it was announced. You'd feel like, well, somebody's going to benefit and somebody may lose, but if you got 70% overlap, why are shareholders opposed?
That's,
or why will they be if and when they continue to be opposed to?
Denny DeVitri, the architect of the breakup, just give him his due. At its peak, this was the greatest value creation in history, the split. When you put the different pieces together, better than Apple. So, I mean, it is at the time, but yeah, obviously its time has come and gone. I can't be as optimistic as they are about the prospects because I think that these are wasting assets.
Well,
the FDA is really.
Do you think that their shareholder bases appreciate the fact that perhaps management understands where their business is more so than the shareholder base does, and therefore this is the way you have to go?
Management understands and tells a very good story. And I'm not being facetious. They have a very good story what has to happen. At the same time, I mean, look, it's a new generation of fund managers. You can't get them to buy Dow Chemical. I'm going to see Everlane today, which is they don't use any plastic. I mean, this new generation just is not waiting for the FDA to bless or not bless.
Right.
New generation is shutting down companies that they think are bad actors.
Well, conceivably when they announce it, then they're going to be having to focus on sort of making their story understood and being transparent about it and trying to get people to buy in. It's going to need a shareholder vote on both sides. Unclear whether it's 2/3 or 50%, depending on whether it's a triangular deal or whether they just do it as a parent-to-parent. But regardless, that shareholder vote is going to become important, given at least some of the opposition that we've heard already in this period where there's a vacuum because you're not hearing it all from the two companies.
But Dave, remember when they split up? It was Philip Morris was supposed to be the growth vehicle, and Altria was going to be the income vehicle.
Right.
One of the things that really shows you that where we've gone is both of them are income vehicles, and both of them have no growth. PM has some growth because people overseas are still starting.
Yes.
Yeah. Look, your documentary on Jewel was frankly the beginning of when people started realizing what's going on. Because you said it was much more than just kid. You said it was, remember, you had that lung presentation. But you also had the British, that the British are okay with it. But I watched the Jewel thing, and I just said, that's it. I watched your documentary, that's it. I'm going against these guys.
Oh, you made your point very clear.
I'm going against it.
I mean, David's right. I mean, Piper downgraded Mo this week.
That's right.
Because of the cloud, literally, the cloud of policy uncertainty out of the FDA and the FTC.
Yep. I mean, they said that very thing. Any interest in a deal without a premium could suggest more stress on the underlying fundamentals and management's outlook for the future than we had anticipated or appreciated, said Piper in that downgrade Carl just referenced. And potential earnings from Jewel may be underappreciated, but we're also less confident on approval from the FTC.
They should be less confident.
And the FDA.
You should be a prescription if you want to buy Jewel. That's where we're going. They don't believe it. Your documentary was fabulous.